Hello, my friends. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Module 2 of Small Business Launch Success. And I hope you got an opportunity to go through the workbook, that you enjoyed everything, and that crucially, you did your marketing audit before moving on to section 2. In this section, we are going to jump right in the deep end and we're going to start to create your offer. Okay? So there's 4 crucial elements of small business launch success. It's creating an offer. It's pricing that offer in a way that works for you and is encompassing of your other business goals, your business model, all of the financial side. Having your sales goals, so that's tied very closely to how you'll price your offer, and your launch period, how long you need. And that will very much depend on the type of product, and how long you confidently need to sell that. We're not going to give you a week to sell out your entire coaching program, but equally you don't need a month to sell out a networking event. So let's think about that. So before we go any further, it's about reminding you that you have to sell the right thing to the right person. And I'm going to add in at the right time. All right, so make it as easy as possible for your offer. Let's not overcomplicate this by guessing it. We've already discussed this in the previous model. We want to know your customer, right? And in order to know your customer, you have to speak to them and try and understand, like, what is the biggest problem they're experiencing right now? And it's hard because you might run a class-based business, you might have a specific product, you might have something that you cannot change. So in order to say, well, I only have one thing, so why are you saying this to me, Orla? But it's how we present that one thing. It's how we make that one thing irresistible. And I'm going to give you an example, right? How many of you have gone into the supermarkets all throughout December, right? And you're honed in on the Christmas food. Okay, you're honed in on the Christmas food, right? And you're getting your mince pies, you're getting your cupcakes, you're getting your treats, you're getting your crisps, like all the nice stuff for the guests, okay? And you don't see healthy food as much. Like, you just don't see it. Everything is about presenting what customers are looking for. So you almost have to root it out. And then in January, it's like the flick of a switch. Okay, then in January, you walk into any supermarket the first week in January, and at the door, you are met with massive things of Heinz soup, veggie burgers, vegan burgers, juice cleanses, like everything. And that's basically just making it easy for you. They're presenting what you want to buy. Okay, so we're going to make this easy for you as well. Okay, so in creating your offer, even if you sell that one thing, even if you're like, I sell a yoga class, we can work with that. It's about taking what you sell and turning it, when we're describing it to your customers, when we're talking about it, when we're naming it, it's turning something into fun and desirable. Now, this doesn't mean it needs to be sexy. It doesn't mean that it needs to be irresistible, but it does mean that it needs to be human and helpful. So in terms of it makes sense. And then we can add in some extras to make it super special. And I want you to get excited about this offer. I want you to put effort into this so that you get really excited. Now, I'm going to share some examples, and in the workbook, I'm going to ask you to use these examples as inspiration. What I'm also going to ask that you do is that you get yourself an inspiration notebook, okay? That you write down when you see an offer on Instagram, that you save that post. When you get an email about an offer, you save that email, right? When you're walking down the street and you see something on offer, you save it. And then when it comes to you creating your next offer, you have this bank of ideas, right? And it's not to say that we copy. We're not going to copy. You're going to take them through all different industries. But what we are going to do is we're going to expand your inspiration, right? We're going to be inspired by all sorts of offers. Okay, so here's an example. If you wanted to launch your children's yoga class, you're probably not going to stand out from the crowd by going, hey, we've got a children's yoga class, because the first thing that people are going to say is, Well, what makes that different from all of the other children's yoga class? So you could launch a gentle parenting-led children's yoga class with a supportive community for parents and carers. Still a yoga class, it's not like we've gone and created anything absolutely out there, but it makes sense. The next thing is you might offer a photo shoot. I know lots of photographers and they're freaking amazing, but there are lots of photographers out there. So it might be, okay, is it like a portrait photo shoot? Is it a family photo shoot? Is it a brand photo shoot? Regardless of the type of photo shoot, I want you to create an offer. I want you to dig down. So here's one example. Website and brand photography shoot with training on how to use your photos for maximum effect. Okay, so doing that photo shoot and partnering with somebody to offer the training, whether it's a social media manager, whatever it is, to show them how to use those photos in the website, making sure that you get the right shots, to show them how to use those photos on social media, how to create covers for your reels with them, all the things that you need. Okay, a handbag. We've got lots of people that make products. Okay, so we make products. By the way, if you make a product, it's bespoke. You have to use those terms, right? So it could be bespoke or one-of-a-kind handmade leather handbag from reclaimed leather that was destined for landfill, right? So we might keep that in brackets, but one-of-a-kind handmade leather handbag from reclaimed leather. Okay, so many options there when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about people wanting to know the story of the products, when we talk about people still wanting to fulfill this need to purchase, to fulfill this desire to own a handbag that's been ingrained in us for years. It's not going anywhere quickly. And this handbag is an amazing opportunity for us to purchase something that is good for the environment and we feel good as well. Okay, here are some examples that I want to give you. On the left, you'll see an easy beauty bundle from the Lip Bar. If you don't follow the Lip Bar on social media, I would do that. They're a young, fresh American company and they've got amazing examples, but they have got their easy beauty bundle. Okay, so another offer if you sell products is that you can combine those. If you sell services, you can have add-ons. I know lots of you have various services, but you could add on coaching, with training, with accountability, with audits. There's all sorts of ways that you can bundle what you offer, give it a name, and have that as your offer. If you sell something that's a little bit more straightforward, I want you to always consider the coffee example, right? Coffees are boring, right? They're boring, I'm sure the most selling coffee in the world is like a latte. So how do you create an offer around something that's standard? Will you bring in offers based on the seasonality? Okay, so we have the pumpkin spice latte, we have the gingerbread latte, we have our chai lattes. During the summer, more popular with the ice lattes. It's still the same core product, but they're presenting it differently based on the time of the year and what the consumer wants. Okay, so these are quite quick examples, right? This doesn't need to be overcomplicated. What it needs to be is human, right? What we need to do is take what we're offering and speak to that one customer, okay? Presenting it in a way whereby we speak to that customer and that we have, we're restricted in terms of we run a business around a certain thing, but we just want to talk about it. We want to present it in a way that will attract interest from your customer. So, my friend, I want you to head over to your workbook and I want you to write down what will you offer. If you're struggling with this, if you're not quite sure, send it to me, okay? Drop me a message on Instagram or send me an email on hello@orlab.com and I would be more than happy to take a look at it for you, But how can you make this offer connect with your audience? And can you give it a name? If you have a masterclass, give it a name. If you've got a coaching program, give it a name. If you've got a children's yoga class, give it a name. If you've got a handbag, give it a name. If you've got a brand photography shoot, give it a name. You're not naming a child, right? It doesn't need to be perfect. They're not going to have it for life. You can change it in the future. but just give it a name so that you can kind of personify this in your own mind and get working on promoting it. All right. So the next thing that we want to consider is the price and the sales goals. And these are tied in really, really quite closely, because your price will determine the volume that you need to sell in order to meet your sales goals. And your price will also be largely influenced by what you sell, the timescale of your launch, and how warmed up your customers are and how much information they need to purchase. So for this particular launch that we're creating throughout this training, for what we're offering here, let's create some targets. Okay, what do you want to earn from your next launch, right? Now, when it comes to setting goals, we're going to do a balance, right? We're not going to go to the swinging pendulum where we stay safe and we're uninspired. We land over here. And we're not going to do the other side of the swinging pendulum where we make it so fucking far out there because that anything is possible with the universe and we can go for it. This is a form of self-sabotage to set goals that are too high unless we are aligned with them. So I want you to set a goal that you feel aligned with, right? I want you to set a goal where you're like, that would push me out of my comfort zone for this launch, but it's not so far that I don't want to do it. Okay? What do you want to earn from this launch? And then I want you to consider, okay, based on what I'm going to price this, how many of your offer do you need to sell to meet this goal? Is the target motivating for you? And I always want you to consider, how will you stay motivated when times get tough? You know, in your head, you plan using the income to, buy a new laptop, take your kids out, go on that night out, get something in there that's going to keep you going when the time gets tough. Okay, tips for pricing what you offer. When it comes to pricing what you offer, I want you to consider, is it low cost or high ticket offer? Okay, so low cost means you are selling a masterclass for £39-40. Okay, so you need volume to meet your sales goal. High ticket offer is that you are selling a designer handbag, handmade reclaimed leather. So you are essentially focused on exclusivity and the fact that not everyone is going to buy it, but they might take more warming up. It may not be bought on a whim. It might be a coaching program. People are not going to buy coaching programs on a whim. You have to really prep them in the pre-launch. Don't just reduce your price down without it being strategic. Okay, so you might think, okay, I'm going to reduce the price. Part of my offer is that I'm going to reduce the price. Any price reduction should be planned in advance. Okay? Do you really, really fucking think that when Pizza Express do a 2-for-1 offer, they just go, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do a 2-for-1 offer? No, that's not what happens. They plan that well in advance. They look at the volume. They look at how they're going to turn those customers into customers for life. Okay, do not just reduce your price. Right? You will work way harder for the right price. You might want to do something to bring them in, but that doesn't mean that you have to reduce your price. And if you do reduce your price, make sure you cost it, make sure you increase the number in your target, or make sure that you have an upsell planned in a month or two or a week or two to sell them. When you're pricing your offer, make it enticing. So always convey the value. You'll see in some of the examples that I give you, we've got ticks of everything that's included because they're conveying the value. Okay. And what we want in the mind of the consumer is like, that value is more than what I'm paying for it. The perceived value and what they're getting. Okay, my friends, that is the end of module 2. I will be back shortly in module 3 and we'll be walking you through how to plan and promote the offer that you have just created.